I love photography, and that does not only mean creating photography, but also consuming it. In our era of convenience, it is not surprising that we consumers avoid the effort of going to photography exhibits or buying photography books. My guess is that most of us mainly consume photography online, many via Instagram. I myself look for photography inspiration on Instagram. Something I've come to notice is that there's a lot of great photography on Instagram, but oftentimes you do have to go through quite a search to find those gems on Instagram. Therefore, to ease that process for you, I want to share some of my personal gems with you. I've picked 5 Instagram accounts from various genres which I want to present to you. During the process of my search, I try to pick the accounts with a smaller following because that reduces the chance of you already knowing them. I personally find these aesthetically highly pleasing and inspiring for my own work. With that said, let's begin with my first pick. By the way, these are in no particular order. The first account I want to show you is George Nutsiulis. I think that is how it's pronounced. George is a street photographer based in Greece. His photography is mainly street photography with some elements of minimalism to his work. Usually he likes to present an unknown, mysterious subject in his photo. Recently he's been shooting a lot of misty scenes, which I am absolutely fond of. I adore his work for its cinematic, mysterious feel. He often chooses to show his subject in small scale compared to the surrounding, which makes them look lost and lonely. Another noteworthy aspect is his color friendliness. His photos often have an overall blue or orange tint. Additionally, the softness of his images created by the fog make these visually so appealing. With all of these elements combined, I think George makes a great start for this list. The second account I've got for you is 1924 US. This account is the page of Christian Watson, a journeyman of branding, design, writing, and life, as he likes to describe himself. His page is all about his store and branding agency, which revolve around preserving the practices of the early 1900s in areas such as photography, branding, writing, design, and archiving. What fascinates me about his page is the rich variety of content he shows you and the way he still fits them all into one continuous style. And that style is purely wonderful to enjoy as a viewer. His photos all have this warm, antique feel to them, quite fitting for the brand, I suppose. The account gives you the pleasure of seeing landscape, travel, lifestyle, and product photography, plus some of the beautiful design work from Christian. I don't know if it's only me, but the antique feel of his work intrigues me again and again. Therefore, I just had to add him to this list. He's the biggest of the 5 accounts in this list with around 130,000 followers, but I hope you didn't know about him yet and can now add him to your feed. The third account on this list is a woman from Ukraine. Her name is Marta Circle. I hope that's pronounced correctly. She is an incredible portrait photographer. In fact, I'd actually call her an abstract portrait photographer. I'd describe her work as very intentional, staged, and planned out. No casual portraits on her page. What makes her unique to me is the way she combines emotional portraiture, carefully chosen light, and a hint of abstraction in her photography. The ways she presents her models is so captivating. Not at all romanticizing, but also not realistically. Rather more intentionally abstract, maybe that's how I'd describe it. You can see her photos here, so maybe you can relate to my difficulties to describe her style, but also my fascination for her work. Anyway, if any of you were looking for a gem on Instagram in the portrait niche, here's my recommendation. Let's continue with the fourth account on this list, Kefan404. Also here, I hope I pronounced that correctly. This guy is a beast of a visual artist. I believe his work on Instagram is a mixture of photography and photo composites or 3D art. I'm not entirely sure, maybe even all 3. In summary, his work is simply intriguing. And simply, I mean pretty literally, he plays around a lot with minimalism in his art and also with some surrealism. His images are usually rather simple to read and oftentimes create a lot of interest through abstraction. Overall, I find his feed to be an inspiring place to look around for some fresh inspiration and also some well-known styles. He maintains a good variety. It's so often a different aspect of his work that catches my attention. Sometimes it's the composition, then it's the surrealism, and other times the color grading. Lastly, let's get to the fifth page I want to show you, Take Magazine. This page is curated by Andrew Johnstone. The photography on this page is not by himself. He features other photographers' work on this page to create a collection of art from where viewers like me can search for new photographers. As written in his description, he showcases documentary and landscape photography. However, I personally would describe this page as a showcase full of cinematic scenes. Andrew often finds incredible photography of cinematic scenes, which just drives my inspiration. I suppose we have a similar taste. A recurring element in his choice of features is the mysteriousness of an image. many empty scenes or photos with only one subject, which is small in comparison to its surroundings. And one thing I often see here, which you know I love, is mist. By the way, fun fact, Take magazine actually just reposted one of my images, which is a huge honor to me. Thank you very much, Andrew. And yes, this really was a coincidence. This happened after I had chosen this page to be part of the video. Just wanted to make that clear at this point. Those were my 5 picks for this video. I hope these accounts were not yet in your list of followings and I could introduce you to some new sources of inspiration and fascination. Deciding which accounts to present was absolutely no easy task, and there are quite a few more accounts I would like to recommend, but I think 5 is enough for one video. Nevertheless, I do want to leave a few honorable mentions at the end of this video in case you're interested to see more. And I asked my Instagram followers to send me their favorite Instagram page or most inspiring Instagram page, and I'll also be including some of those in the honorable mentions. With that said, that's it for this week. I hope I could provide some value to you in this video. If so, leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you again next week. Goodbye.